My dad has been trying to hide it from me, but I know he has a boyfriend. How do I support him? My mom passed away from COVID in the summer of 2020 and it really messed up my dad, 38M. He was still working and taking care of me, 15M. But that was pretty much it. He wasn't doing anything he used to enjoy. Obviously he was busier because he had to take care of me all by himself and he couldn't go out because of COVID. But still he used to like hockey and weird old action movies. But he stopped watching all that stuff. I was also super depressed, obviously, but after a while I started doing stuff for fun again, like video games and hanging out with my friends. However, he didn't. When I was a kid, I didn't really think about it. But now that I'm older, I worry about him. He started doing more stuff and being less sad all the time. Last summer, then in October, he began participating in this community service program that picks up trash in different neighborhoods. Through that, he met this guy Peter. I think he's around 40-ish, and I believe they're dating. They hang out at least twice a week, sometimes more. I stay at school until 8 p.m. 3 times a week for robotics club, and my dad sees Peter or at least one of those days every week. My dad used to talk about him all the time, always saying things like, "Peter said this," or "I was talking to Peter." He doesn't mention him as much anymore, but they text a lot and my dad is always smiling at his phone. He started dressing nicer, getting his haircut more often and such. There are other signs too. I just get a vibe from them. So I was like 90% sure they were dating, but I thought maybe my dad was just excited to have a friend again. He was probably lonely, I guess, but now it's Ramadan and Peter, who isn't even Muslim, has stopped by a few times before sunrise to bring my dad food for suhoor. Friends don't cook for each other at stupid o'clock in the morning. They must be dating. I guess I technically still don't know. They're dating, but like they're definitely dating lol. So now I want to know how to get him to feel okay. Telling me my dad never said anything about having attraction to guys before. I don't know if he just didn't tell people or if Peter is the first guy. He's like, since he and my mom got together when he was 19. So he didn't have a ton of time to date guys before now, and I know he's very open-minded. If I wasn't straight, I wouldn't be afraid of telling him at all. But he was a teenager in the early 2000s when things were different, so maybe he's ashamed. There are some rainbow people at our mosque and it's cool, but I know some Muslims don't like rainbow people. I don't know what the mosque he went to as a kid was like, so maybe it's like he doesn't think it's okay for him to be anything other than straight? I don't know, and I also feel kind of weird about it, which isn't cool of me. I know, but I don't know. He took his wedding ring off a few months ago, which is part of why I started thinking he and Peter were dating. I know my mom's gone and my dad isn't actually that old, so it's not fair to think he can ever date anyone else or get married again. I want him to be happy and stuff, but it's also like he's supposed to be married to my mom. You know? Peter's okay, but he's not my mom and not going to lie. It's kinda weird that he's dating a man who isn't Muslim. I'm barely Muslim now, I pray with my dad, but I don't think I really believe anymore, and I'm not really fasting. But being Muslim is important to my dad. What if dating someone who isn't Muslim makes him stop being Muslim too? But also, it might be weird if he dated a Muslim woman because then it'd be like a replacement for my mom? I don't know. I feel weird. So how do I support my dad and make him feel like it's okay to come out? And how do I deal with my own crap and not make him feel bad? Update 1. This actually happened like 2 weeks ago, but I didn't post anything because I don't need advice. I don't think so. I didn't post anything. But then I remembered some of you seem kind of invested in my dad's love life lol. So here we go. I was thinking a lot about everything with my dad and how to talk to him and how to deal with the way I feel about everything without making my dad feel bad or like I'm the main character and he has to do what I want or anything. I guess I was acting weird because my dad asked me if I was okay. I said that he wasn't wearing his wedding ring anymore. So he asked me if that upset me and I said kinda because it wasn't like he just took it off when my mom passed away and he wasn't married anymore. He kept wearing it then, but now he took it off. So he feels different now, I guess. And I was afraid he didn't care anymore because I don't want him to be sad all the time anymore. But I do kind of want him to still be a little sad maybe, which I know isn't cool of me, but I'm still a little sad. Then my dad got quiet for a while, and then he apologized that he made me feel like he didn't care about my mom anymore and that he'd been handling things badly since she passed. He said that he still loves my mom and everything, but that he loved her differently now. He had been acting like it was the same, which was why he was sad all the time. But then he accepted that even though he still loved her and she was still his wife, it was different and he felt better. But then looking at his wedding ring made him really upset. I don't know. He explained it really well, but I think it sounds dumb the way I wrote it. But it made sense when he said it because, like, she's still my mom and I still love her, but obviously she's not my mom the way she was when she was there all the time. Then he asked me if I wanted their wedding rings. He said he'd been holding on to my mom's for me when I got older, and he figured I was old enough now to be responsible with it and not lose it. So we got a chain for me to put them on, and I were both there, wedding rings around my neck now. Anyway, since we were talking about it, I wanted to say something about how my dad is dating Peter. I know some of you said that maybe they were just friends, but if you were in my house and you saw the way my dad talks about him, you would not think that I haven't spent a lot of time with Peter or anything. But I have been around him and my dad together and they are not just friends lol. So I told my dad that I wouldn't be mad or upset if he dated someone else. It would be okay. He shouldn't be alone forever. And he said it meant a lot that I said that. Then I said that Peter seems pretty cool. And my dad got all awkward. Not in a "you are so wrong" way, but in an "I'm embarrassed to talk about my boyfriend" way. And it was funny for a bit, but then I felt kind of bad lol. So I said, Peter's old man sweaters aren't cool, but at least they're better than my dad's dumb polo shirts, which I said mostly to change the vibe, but also because it's true. And my dad called me a brat, then hugged me and said I was a good kid and we moved on. So we didn't really talk about it, I guess, but I know they're dating and he knows. I know they're dating and I'm cool with it, and I still feel a little weird about my dad dating someone who isn't my mom, but I feel better about it. Not sure if anyone is reading this, but if you are, I hope you liked it lol.